Chase, who's also our O-line coach. So he's going to come up and do it. Coach Pettit. All right, we on? We all set?
All right, as Coach said, Joel Penner, I'm the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach. Thrilled to have you guys here today. We really appreciate you making the effort. I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to dive into a specific scheme today. I'm going to talk about an idea that we call implementation. And so I guess I'll start it off with a question. All right, how do you go from a great concept? Okay, let's use this as an example. How do you go from a great concept to execution? How do you go from a great concept to execution? What we're going to talk about here is, in coaching, we talk about stealing an inch. If I can steal an inch over my opponent, I have more at the end of the game. I think this topic is not inches. I think this topic is yards. We're talking about stealing yards. We're talking about, I believe, one of the most undervalued, underrated aspects of what we do as coaches is this idea of implementation. So the question, how do I go from what's on that, which call that a playbook page, to what you see on the screen here? Because it didn't just happen. I promise you, when we wanted to run this concept, I didn't just go, here guys, here's what we're doing, go do it. Go do it in the GLIAC, go do it against this school. There was a lot of stuff that went into going from there to there. And so that's what we're going to get at today. Let's talk about implementation. The dictionary defines implementation is to put into effect according to a definite plan or procedure. We, like Coach Lang, we want to be stupid simple. Everything that happens between that, the concept, and the execution. And I mean everything. Sometimes we just think of implementation as, let's go out and practice. All right? But there's hidden yards, there's hidden inches in how we talk about the play, how we install the play. Specifics of how we teach the play. Before I get into that, I want to tell you just a few little quotes and stories about this topic that have stuck with me over the years. Some of you may have heard this, but Lou Holtz at Notre Dame, he was in a film room, and he was talking to his coaches, and they were watching practice. And one of his coaches was kind of getting chewed on a little bit because a running back kept making a mistake that they had seen frequently. And Lou Holtz was kind of getting after this coach a little bit. And the coach said, I have worked this skill 1,000 times. I've worked it 1,000 times. And Lou Holtz said, what's the significance of 1,000? What's the significance of 1,000? In other words, why would you think you're off the hook because you've worked it 1,000 times? You're not off the hook. All right? How about this one? The film is your signature. I'll be honest, I'm guilty of forgetting this one. We were watching film on Tuesday morning. We were watching a player on our team make mistakes that we had seen a couple times, and we started getting frustrated. He just doesn't get it. What's wrong with this guy? And then I remembered what I was about to talk about, and I realized I'm guilty. Okay? The film is my signature. Whatever is happening on the film is my signature. When I signed the mortgage papers on my house, I took full responsibility for every square inch of that property. It's my signature. I'm responsible. All right? I think we have to look at whatever's on film is our signature as a coach. Here's another one. I had a coach some years ago, similar to the Lou Holtz thing. A player was messing up. We're watching it. He's just not getting it. And the coach's way out was, I told him. I told him. And it kind of became a joke. Now we kind of laugh about it. If you're in our film room and a guy's making a mistake, don't defend yourself by saying, I told him. All right? You didn't do anything. And as we'll learn in a minute, telling him is the least effective way to get the point across. So don't say I told him. I've learned this principle probably more from Coach Lang, watching him and watching film with him. He beats himself up. It's always his fault. And he's a very accomplished, one of the best that there is. Yet at his stage of life and where he's at in his career, he bullies himself in the film room because he screwed up. In his mind, it's on him. This one I heard this week from Tom McDaniels here in Canton. A lot of coaches are scheme rich and execution poor. And this is what we love to do. I mean, this is so much fun for us. I don't know about you guys, but getting on the board and drawing stuff and moving X's and O's around is so much fun. All right, but it's not going to translate without implementation. Okay? Half the battle of implementation isn't how good a teacher can I be. Half the battle is how is that guy going to learn? So about a month ago, I had our quarterbacks go to this website. Now I realize I'm talking to a group of educators who probably have a master's degree in this topic. All right? So I'm talking to myself more than anybody, but I wanted to learn how our quarterbacks learn. So I didn't just assume how they learned. I wanted to know how they learned. There's an inventory. It's about 20 questions on this website. You're going to find out at the end if you're an auditory learner, a visual learner, or a tactile learner, tactile, kinesthetic, learn by doing. Okay? One of our quarterbacks, I'll just tell you how he scored. He was 10% auditory. So that means if I'm in a film room and I'm talking, and he's hearing me talk, that's a 10% engagement of his learning style. Not very effective. He's visually 35%, which is better. It's good that we're watching stuff. He's seeing it. But he was 55% tactile. He needs to do it. He can't just hear it. He can't just see it. He needs to do it. It changed how I coached him. One of the learning models that we like to use is what we call big, little, big. So if I'm setting up a practice, I want to give them what I would call the big picture first. I want them to see the whole thing. And then we're going to go and break it up. Now we're in an individual drill. And I'm going to get the fundamentals of that skill right. Then we're going to usually move to a group. So we'll pull running backs, quarterbacks together, work together on this skill. The goal is that by the end, we can put it back in the big, or the whole part again, and put it all together. And as coaches, what we always think is, did my individual or my small part, my little part, did it translate to team time at the end of practice? If what I want them to do isn't showing up in team, I have to work backwards. I have to go to back to the little part and say, why is it not showing up? I got to tweak it. I got to do it more. I got to do it better. So it's the big, little, big. And for us, it follows a pattern. We start off practice in team time. And it's a walkthrough. It's install. And then we go to individual. And then we finish back up with team. Okay, so I guess I've been trying to sell you on the importance of good implementation. Now I want to show you, I'm going to walk you through a couple concepts. Coach Chase will take how we will implement trap option. So you've seen it from the master on how to scheme it. Now we're going to show you what does it look like to get it ready for Saturdays. And I'm going to do the same with 4 verticals. Okay? We like to throw the ball a little bit with some play action. This concept is a variation of our 4 verticals. But from start to finish, I want to show you how do we get it to work on Saturday. So then here's a practice schedule. You probably all have something that looks similar. I've highlighted the part I'm talking about that says pre-practice meeting. I don't know if you all have the ability to do a pre-practice meeting, but we like to get them in a classroom. Not that they're going to sit there and listen to us all the time, but it's a way to get everybody together before we go out and try to do it. And so we're going to start a meeting, and I'm going to say, playbooks up. And they're going to pick up their playbooks. Oh, Jimmy didn't bring his playbook. Get out of here. Get to your dorm room. Go get your playbook. Don't let it happen again. Show me your writing utensil. They got to raise their hands. I want them to engage their visual with actually playbook. I know some people are against playbooks. Mike Leach hates playbooks. He makes fun of playbooks. We like playbooks. Okay? I want them to have blank pages after every play so they can draw stuff, take notes, talk about adjustments. It's important to have those for us. All right, we want them to take notes. All right, so we'll be in a room like this with the whole offense, and then boom, coaches break up with your position. Sometimes I have a coach that's a teacher or he's working another job, so we'll combine and we'll do 2 positions in one room. Sometimes it's good anyway to do that. And we'll do our, this is the whole, and then we're going to do some small group, some parts. All right, here's something we might do in a meeting. We're getting ready for 4 verticals right now. Okay, those quarterbacks, we're watching film. They know what they're supposed to do. They're getting a rep. Okay, for my tactile learner who's 55%, do you guys agree with me that this might be a better way to teach a concept than if he just hears me talk about it? Okay, and it doesn't have to be a pass. Okay, it could be, I had the running backs the other day and I had them read an inside zone. And they would walk through the mesh and they would look at the screen and they'd go this way or this way. Okay, I'm just trying to give them an opportunity to do it, not just hear me talk about it. And now it's not as good as full speed live pads, let's go, but it's a way to get a point across a little bit more kinesthetically. Okay, now we're on the grass. I don't have film of this because we don't film this stuff, but we try to take a 10-minute period, okay, where we've got a group, and in a perfect world, we're going to engage everybody. So I have a red shirt guy who's not going to play a lick this year. I'd like him to get a rep. I'd like everybody to get a rep. That's the end zone. Here's huddle 1, huddle 2, and some years huddle 3. I got a coach responsible for those. The football's right here. I've asked Coach Yule to set up trash cans, and he's set up just that. That's all we need right now. He'll set up those trash cans. And group 1 is usually my first group, and I'll just say, guys, we're running 3 plays. Boom. They're going to come out, and it's not about how physical can we be on a trash can. That's not what we're doing here. This is about the big picture. This is about the assignment. So these guys better be paying attention. Okay? They better watch the older guys do what they're about to do, because plays 1 through 3 are about to be run by this group. Instead of rotating 1 play every time, we felt like we got more. If we went 1, 2, 3, get off. 1, 2, 3, same 3, get off. And if we have time, 1, 2, 3 here. Okay? And here we're going to talk about, let's just say it was travel. Okay, we're going to make sure this is the eagle. Okay, there's the football. We're going to talk about, are we going to influence this thing, or we also will do different things with the eagle trap? That's when we can talk about it. Okay? So the best way to get me to throw something at practice is if there's a mistake in this group, assignment-wise, and then a different guy makes the same mistake with the second group, stuff starts to happen that isn't fun for me or them. So they got to hold their attention. But again, that's the big. We want to start with the big, get the big picture, and then we break up and finish out the drill with an individual time to install that. We call it circle the wagons. Okay? All right, the next thing is what I call, now I'm going quarterback here. Back to 4 verticals. Any pass play that we give them, Coach Lang already said it. I don't want a dissertation. I want a word. Okay? We have to give them a word. So 4 verticals. They have a little chant that they always say, and they'll dream about it because they say it. We'll start a meeting, and I'll say, all right, it's 4 verticals, what are we doing? Slot, space, inside out. Slot, space, inside out. Slot, space, inside out. Those 3 phrases or words mean something. We want to throw the ball to the slot, find the slot. Which side's he on? Is there pre-snap space? Yes or no? If there is, we're going to stay on that side, read it inside out. If there's no space, we're going to go to the other side, read it inside out. Slot, space, inside out. So now we can go to a drill like this, and I just filmed this in the gym the other day. This is actually a different concept, but they're practicing those. This is a three route progression concept that they're working. It's a fade, a bubble, and what we call a drive route. They're actually saying, you can't hear the audio, they're saying fade, bubble, drive. You can hear them saying it. Okay? When we go to 7-on-7, sometimes I'll hear a quarterback actually say what he's reading as he goes. Okay, I don't require him to say it in 7-on-7, but in progression drill, you just put the cones where the guys are going to be on the route. Okay, and you want to drill the muscle memory into it. I want them to have eye discipline. I want them to see what they're looking at and go in order. And most of our pass concepts are progression based. So that's progression drill. That's breaking it into parts. We don't do this one every day, but if you want to be good at 4 verticals and your defense runs a little cover 3, it's a win-win. 5 minutes. Get a free safety, get 2 force player adjuster type, and let them work their cover 3. You get a slot and a quarterback. And run your 2 slots on the 4 verticals. Okay, and we do 4 verticals from trips. We do it from out of the backfield, all sorts of ways. That you can do it all in this drill. And you're running one play, and the defense knows you're running it. They're running one coverage, and you know they're running it. They get to work on collision, whatever they do, whatever they need to do. You get to work on get away from the collision, and you just rep a million of them. Okay, so quarterbacks here, a line of guys there, and a line of guys there. Adjuster, outside release. You know, they'll work rolls sometimes and do different things, and we have to adjust to it. Okay, we just call it 4 verts drill. And it's 5 minutes, and every guy will probably go 4 or 5 times. Okay, depending on how long your lines are. We don't usually film that either. 7-on-7, everyone runs 7-on-7, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but you know, sometimes we bring our O-line to 7-on-7. Okay, and it's just so that they can work their protections with non-contact. It also helps because our quarterbacks have something in front of them. 7-on-7 is the most unrealistic passing drill you can do. I mean, it's unfair. The offense has all day. There's nothing in front of them. So we like to put some 6'4" guys in front of our quarterback so he has to feel what that's like. Okay? So this is just a clip of us getting ready. We're getting ready for these 4 verticals. Okay? We're getting ready for it. And I try to be repetitive in 7-on-7. When I script, I don't go 4 verticals here, Omaha here, sprint out here, waggle here. I go 4 verticals, 1, 2, 3, 4. Different formation, different side, different way. But I want the quarterback to find a rhythm. 4 verticals 4 times in a row. 4 verticals 4 times in a row. Makes scripting easier, but it's also, I just want the quarterback to feel it. Okay, this one's a little different than last time. I should read it different. And then we're watching film on it. He can see, yeah, that first time they covered it like this. The second time they covered it like this, and all back to back. That's just what we like to do. It seemed to work for us. So that's 7-on-7. The goal of practice, the whole goal of practice is team time. It's like everything's leading up to team time. We want to see if our work of implementation will transfer to 11-on-11. And it's all about team. And we'll know if we've done our job based on how team time goes. So this is that concept. Okay, and we usually, this year, we did a lot without full pads, but some years we'll be in full pads here. And so this is the goal. So now I can watch the film and say to my receivers coach or look at myself as a quarterbacks coach and say, I don't think it's working. I don't think it translated to the team. Let's back up. Let's look at team. Let's look at individual. And let's see why it's not translating. Okay? And then obviously this is the goal. And you saw this one earlier. We want it to translate on Saturday. And there's just really good execution here. It was the right play at the right time. What you don't know is why are they playing this defense so aggressively, so downhill? Well, it looks like power. Okay, and again, I didn't come up here to give our scheme talk. When we do our breakouts, if you want to learn more about some of the schemes that we're doing that sets this up, the concepts, let's talk the concepts. I want to talk about the implementation of it. Okay? So I guess before I finish, Coach Chase is going to come up and talk about the same thing but with trap. Here's been my challenge this offseason, and I guess I'll leave it with you, is if you broke down the ratio of time spent on a marker and moving X's and O's around and getting your concepts in order, the ratio of that versus you sitting down with coaches and saying, we know we're going to run 4 verticals, we know we're going to run trap. What is the absolute most efficient way that we can get the point across? How can we implement this? I would say it's been, for me, most of my career, it's been out of balance. Always finding the right play. Always finding the right scheme. Sometimes, and Coach Lang showed a trap where the defense played it perfectly. That eagle spiked in, but the guard knew how to kick it out. He knew how to throw his shoulder in the hole. And because they had implemented well, they didn't need a new play. Okay? So think about the ratio of time spent on scheme versus implementation, and it was a challenge for me. So, Coach Chase.
So I'm going to continue on the same topic of going from the chalkboard, everybody knows what they want on the chalkboard, to seeing what we want on game film and bridging that gap. But I'm going to go through trap and trap option, kind of through a running back perspective. The big, we already did the big in our meeting. We talked about it. Now we're going on to practice. We're going to do very little to little group to bigger group to get ready for team. The first thing we'll do with the running backs and the quarterbacks and centers is we're going to work the mesh of whatever run we just put in. We teach a different mesh for different runs, so we want a different tempo. Our backs at different depths depending on how fast the run hits. Our trap is our fastest. Our quarterback needs to be rushed. We don't overcoach our mesh. We really say it's a marriage between the quarterback and the running back, and they need to talk it out. We want it to be as fast as possible, but that quarterback has to tell the running back, you were too fast, or you could have went faster. The coaches can go coach it, but it really doesn't matter. The quarterback has to tell them, you're way too fast, I'm just fumbling. You can be a little faster. So they talk it out. Our running backs play with their depths. We'll do this. We'll do this in the gym. We'll do it during the season. We'll do it every day. We work all our different runs. And one of the key things is to do it with the center. Don't have a quarterback snap because it's a different speed. And then your marriage doesn't work because it's not actually how it's going to happen. The next drill, we call it speed ball. The rest of you may know it as two ball. We think it's the single most important drill to an option offense. We call it speed ball because we want to do this drill as fast as physically possible. Not in our tempo and how fast we're lining up, but how fast we're executing. As an option offense, you have to be able to play fast. That's the key to this drill. It started as us doing it with only zone triple. And for you that don't know what two ball is, you'll have your quarterback, your dive, and your pitch. You have a dive key, you have a pitch key. It's called two ball because if your quarterback gives it, another quarterback's there to pitch him another ball so he can go execute the pitch phase. Again, we do this in the gym all year. The trash can's there just so our running back doesn't get off his track. But you can see he's reading it, he's got a dive, he's got a pitch key, he's attacking. But our dive back, he's not doing a whole lot of work in this drill. He's just kind of running forward. Sometimes we'll have a guard be the key. So we said, as a staff, well, how can we take this drill to another level to help with our trap and our trap option game? Because when we watch film, one of the things we noticed was it's easy on the chalkboard to say running back hug the guard. But you don't know, is this guard going to kill the guy? Is he's gonna barely get any movement with the 2-eye? Or is it a shade and he's slanting and we're killing him? It's a moving target. When we look back, we didn't practice a moving target. We practiced a guy standing there and he hugs it. Well, that ain't good. So we added a garbage can. We moved it. You'll see film of it. The backside tackle, what Coach Lang talked about. We teach the running backs, you're cutting the backside linebacker every play. If it's trap option, you're actually going to cut it. If it's trap, you're going to cut off of it. So every single play we run trap, you got to key the backside linebacker. Next, 50 front defense. Real easy on the chalkboard. Say, oh, if he slants, take him. If he doesn't, don't. You better practice that. And we'll do that in speed ball as well. Then we'll work trap option. Here you can see we got our trash can on a rope. Super cheap thing to do. All we do is drag it real slow if it's a bad block, or you can almost sprint with it like we're killing somebody. Sometimes we'll move it inside. Say, hey, we're working our influence track, we're working it to an eagle. Now we're hugging the center. It's a little bit tighter track. We just teach hug that thing as tight as possible. We want our running back here to get vertical immediately. As soon as you get around that trash can, get vertical. Now we're working against the 50 defense. So you can see here the tackle, the DN did not slant, so he's not taking him. So now our running back still has to hug the guard. And then the guard here is the trash can. So the running back, the guard, and the tackle all have to be on the same page for trap to work right. It's easy on the chalkboard, but when we watch game film, you better find a way to drill it because it's really hard technique to work. Next clip, now you can see it's the angle side. So the DN slanted, our tackle takes him. I want to get way more vertical. He needs to get vertical off the hip, but he did a good job. He found his new down block because now it's to the slant side. Now we'll add in everything. Now we're working our trap option. So you can see we got a guy working the log block. We got the running back, same read. He's hugging the guard, getting through. But now instead of cutting off of the backside linebacker, we're cutting to the linebacker. So we'll roll a ball. We'll roll it big time. We'll roll it a little. He's got to cut the ball. Our log block is working. And then our quarterback, we don't need a 2-ball for this one because he's always pulling it. Then he'll attack his pitch key and they'll work with the pitch. One thing to talk about 2-ball is we always want to finish with a pitch. Even if our pitch read tells the quarterback to insert, we still want to finish with a pitch afterwards because we only get so many reps and we want to practice the pitch and the catch every time we get a chance. We never want the quarterback to finish with the football. More clips of us working trap option in a drill. Everybody's getting work. We took a drill where, I don't know how many people are running back coach, but I used to fight every single practice. I get about 5 minutes empty. So you have to find ways to get your work into another period. This is a period we used to just work zone triple. Now everybody's getting work. We just added practice time with the same amount of practice time. Another thing, same with how we talked about 7-on-7, repeating the play. The best thing we did was take our inside run period and we just repeat the same play over and over. Instead of doing, trap, zone, and power all on the same day, we'll do 10 traps in a row. We'll do it against every front. We'll do it against different angles. We really work it. And what it allows is instant coaching. Guard, he didn't wrap tight enough. Running back, he didn't hug it. He hears it, it goes out, immediate rep, immediate fix. When you watch film, immediate. You get to coach it up. You get to coach it up every play. Here's clips of our inside run. One thing you can see here that's a little different that we do up below is you see that we got a shade. We're down blocking the 2-eye, but the 2-eye slants out. So that's a really, really hard block to block a guy that's slanting out. We don't even fight it. We just let him go, and our guard goes on to the next one, and we'll trap that guy. That's something we added last year that was great. But this drill, by doing trap over and over and over, you get to work the different looks, and you get to immediately coach it up. We do this so fast, our scout defense barely gets lined up. Here, our running back, you can see, hugging the down block. Last one, I think we got a trap to the eagle. We hug the center. Here it is. Our running back does a good job here of taking the drill, of hugging the garbage can. Now he's hugging the center's down block and cutting off the backside linebacker. Last thing, we wanted to then, all these drills, hopefully end up on the game film. And then when you watch it on game film, it's good to say, oh, that drill worked. We tried it, we put it in a drill, and it translated. Here was an influence trap to an eagle. You can see our running back here. Real easy read. We're going to hug the center. We worked it with the garbage can. He hugged it. He got through. Didn't overcoach it. He ran into the hole. Now we have trap to a shade. Now we're hugging the guard. Again, we've worked the drill, everybody's worked it. He's hugging the garbage can, gets through. I didn't have film, but we do speedball with the backside tackle read too. Does a good job. He could be even a little tighter, get vertical, run into the hole. Now our last play is trap option in a game. Everybody's done their part. The running backs reads the same. Get through, hug the guard, get through. Now cut the backside linebacker. Our guard does a good log. And our quarterback does a good job of making the pitch guy wrong. So that's just a clip of how we take trap option from the chalkboard to game film, a little bit of the in-between.
Is that nice?